All right, there's been a little bit of controversy in the news with regards to affiliate marketing, which we'll get into in just a moment. But first, I want to welcome everybody back to the Evolved Marketing Podcast. And this is episode number 75, Andre. We're three-quarters of the way to 100. What do you think about that?
That's insane. I mean, when we first started, our goal was to just stay consistent, and we've been doing that. Just
Yeah.
every single week, we have not missed a single episode. For you guys, the listeners out there, and of course for you as well, Brian. Like we do this for ourselves as well. So this is something that keep us accountable. And I mean, I enjoy doing this podcast. I get to learn so much. Either from you, from the guests, you as well. You get to learn from me, from my experiences. So it's like we just share ideas, stories, and we go from there.
Yeah, I mean it's like our own little mini network here. We obviously get together once a week and kind of bounce stuff off each other, sometimes in the planning for the day's episode and sometimes right on the show. And I think we learn a lot, and it's just good to start or continuously talk about what's going on, what's changing. The episode last week, we had Phil on, and it was great to talk to him because of the amount of success that he has and how fast he's had it. I think we got a lot of insight in what it takes to scale and what's important, what really drives the needle when it comes to ramping up a digital products business or a coaching business. So that was cool. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm excited to continue forward and do another 75.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it, man. I mean, 75 episodes a year and a little more over a year, that we've been doing this. We're soon enough we're gonna be 5 years in, and we won't even realize it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a great lesson for those marketers out there who are just getting started. Everybody wants that quick success, and obviously this is not that. There's a lot of benefits to the podcast, and it does help me sell some of my other stuff. So you can't directly translate, that into income, but I know it helps build the relationship with my audience. But that's the thing. It really hasn't been that hard to do once we kind of got in the groove. The first month or two was a little hectic and a little time consuming, but now it's really easy. We show up, we have a good time, we learn some stuff, and that's exactly right. 3 years down the road, who knows? This could be something that is our main business. We have no plans of that, but you never know what's going to happen. And it's just like the old saying, Andre, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So, if you're thinking about going out there and creating long form content for the future, I think there's a tremendous opportunity, because long form, I think, is making a comeback.
I think so too. I mean, you just said it right? We just started this in 2022, right? Yeah, right? 2022.
The end of 2022.
So,
Yep.
yep. So that means, we're early. I feel like we're still super early. And then affiliate marketing is just growing over the years, right? It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's gonna be $1 billion industry, in 5 years probably. People are gonna be utilizing and using affiliate marketing even more in the future. And I'm excited what kind of ways of affiliate marketing they're also gonna come up, right? Because it's not the same as 20 years ago, affiliate marketing today, but in 5 to 10 years, everything might change. And this is exactly what we're gonna talk about today, right? We saw some affiliate marketing things on the Today Show or the news, right?
Yeah. So there, yeah. And it's funny the way you say that we saw some stuff on the Today Show, and that's interesting. So I was out in South Texas. I mean, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Spotty cell service, 100 acres, and the closest neighbor was 2.5 miles away. And you sent me this link, and it happened to come through. And I was sitting outside, and we were sitting on the back deck, and I hit it, and sure enough, affiliate marketing has made the news. Now, as we talk about this story, there's some negative aspects to it, but first I want to cover the positive aspects for anyone who's considering affiliate marketing or just getting started. The fact that it's become so mainstream now that it's making the Today Show. That's what it was, right? The Today Show.
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those major networks,
Hmm.
NBC, CBS, one of their major morning shows. And it's not a back alley, behind the scenes type thing anymore. It's a real business that's growing. And because it's growing, there's going to be some negative and positive, just like anything else. People trash Tesla, people trash Apple. And I'm not saying that affiliate marketing is on par with those trillion-dollar companies, but it's becoming mainstream now, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing about it, right? It was on the news. I know there's a lot of negative things about the company that they were talking about, which was Legendary Marketer, of course. But at the same time, we are in it. They are not in it. You get me? So it's really biased, or they're just giving you a narrative that they think is right, but at the same time, it's not 100% accurate, because they probably are not in it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. To me, and let me be clear here. We're not trying to defend Legendary Marketer because we're affiliates for them or we have been affiliates for them. Even though I still love the company, I love Dave Sharp. I think he's an amazing marketer. We're not, that's not what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to give another perspective and really just talk about something that was quite interesting. And yeah, for those who don't know, um, they essentially found some people who feel like they were misled, I think was the gist of the
Mhm.
story when they bought into Legendary Marketer for $2,500. And the news source decided to make a story out of it. And obviously, you need controversy to get people riled up. And that's kind of how they covered it. They basically interviewed the couple, three, four, five people who they could find who were maybe miffed or felt misled, and then they contrasted that with some social media posts from probably their top affiliate.
Yeah. So the way the tagline, I believe it was misleading ads
Mm-hmm.
on social media, which basically they targeted one of the top affiliates for Legendary Marketer, right? And they were talking about her, how she was misleading with her content. Some of the people that they were interviewing, they were saying, I saw videos about making money with Lululemon and then all these businesses. But at the end of the day, it's just clickbait, right? Everybody does clickbait. Even the news does clickbait, right? So I don't see why it was so negative towards that top affiliate because everybody's doing it. You get me? That's just how you get eyes to your offer. That's all it is. And I'm sure that girl went through a horrible time seeing the news talking about her account, her social media account, just focus on her. And that's just like a different mental game that they have to be prepared for.
And that's the thing. I mean, she's grown a big business. I think she's probably done $6 or $7 million. So when you get to that size, and especially the speed at which she approached that number, then you have to realize you are a big business and you're going to have to deal with some of that press. So hopefully she didn't get too down. I don't know her personally, but obviously
Hmm.
I feel like I'm part of the same community as her. And yeah, I'm sure she'll rise above. And who knows? There's probably a little part of her who's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was in the news.
Exactly.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, all you have to do is search on Twitter or Facebook to see that major news outlets, major media buyers and major media producers and sellers of ads, they're using clickbait to get the clicks on social media. I can't tell you how many times I see an article and just the way it's worded, you're expecting one thing, and then you get over to the article and it's like totally nothing, right? Like they blow it out of proportion. They take the most clickbaity angle and just to get the click and the like and the share so it gets reached so people come to their news source and then they deliver the article. And I think that's a fair comparison because let's be honest, can you become an affiliate for Lululemon? Yes. Is anywhere in her content saying that she made $6 million becoming an affiliate for Lululemon? I don't think so. You know what I mean? I haven't seen that going around social media for many of the affiliates. And also, the skills that you learn to promote Legendary Marketer, for example, are completely transferable to any product. Now, there's benefits to promoting high ticket offers in the digital product space over physical products, especially when it comes to audience size. But the bottom line is the skills are 100% transferable. I've promoted so many different products over the years. I've promoted stuff on Amazon. I've promoted, uh, you know, community websites that you pay monthly. I've promoted software. I've promoted digital education. I've promoted my own products. It's just marketing. It's getting attention, pre-framing, and then driving to an offer that's a match for the target market, right? A product consumer fit.
Yeah, so bottom line, everybody's doing clickbait, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's doing it just to get eyes to your offer, especially when people do paid advertisement. That's mostly just clickbait and then just a copy of another ad. It's everything is just the same basically. They just share the same ideas. and just to get the same type of attention, right? Because if you get attention this way, oh, I want the same attention. So how do I get to the same attention? By doing the same things that you did, same type of thing. Another thing that they were talking on the news was they they brought up the fine print, I guess, on the website for legendary market where it says this isn't a get rich quick scheme and results are not typical, right? But just because they said it on the news, they made it seem like it was negative when at some point it's positive because you're literally telling the people that purchase their products that you're not gonna get rich quick because of this program. You get me? But the way they framed it was, oh, this is negative, like, but it's right there. It's all in all our funnels. It's right there. Literally everybody can just read it.
Yeah, it was interesting the angle they took, and it shows you their lack of education on
Yeah.
on the subject is really what it is. Now, I'm not faulting them. They're just personalities on TV. Their job is just to report the news. They're not hard-hitting journalists. They're a morning show, and their morning show is based on drumming up excitement and attention and getting people to talk about. But yeah, I don't know if it was one of the guys on there when they showed that disclaimer. I don't remember exactly what he said because I was once again kind of on vacation, so to speak, but he was basically saying, well, that's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even trust their own product, I think was kind of the angle he was delivering. Or why would you buy something that doesn't work? But that's the point is the skills work, but it's not a guarantee to make
hmm
money. You know what I mean? So I thought that was an interesting. Do you have any more insight into the angle they took? Because I know you dug deep into that interview, so I'd love to hear what you think
Yeah,
about
I was
that.
I was talking to a few affiliates too, to see what's happening, right? What's going on, right? And it's just like I said, the angle that they tried to do it wasn't the right angle, I guess. But just how you said, it's good because they're not educated about it. They haven't been in it, you get me? So they don't really understand what Dave is trying to do to kind of cover his ass, but at the same time, he's not guaranteeing any results. Like those are things that he's done in a legal way. For people that don't know, Legendary Marketer has a bunch of lawyers and a bunch of, people behind the scenes that you don't even realize they do. So nothing will happen to Legendary Marketer, I believe. They're just gonna keep going and doing whatever they're doing. Another angle that they did was something about the BBB ranking or whatever. I don't know the abbreviation, the Bureau of,
Yeah,
I
the
don't
Better
know.
Business Bureau.
There you go, the Better Business Bureau. Now, in order for you to get a ranking, that means they have to have an investigation, right? They are already in it, and for them to get like an A minus or something like that, that means that they have already opened the doors for them to check out the whole business. It's not like they just rank it A minus without investigating. They're investigated already. They're already like in it. They're already in the system, I guess you can say. So just by saying that they already got investigated is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because now they can see that they're running things smoothly or the right way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Just anytime your business gets that big, and I don't know what they're doing a year, but if it's 20 million a year, that's pretty big for the digital product space. I mean, overall, it's not a huge business, but that's pretty big for the digital product space. And that's about the time that, people start looking into it. I know when Frank Kern got, investigated and maybe fined, I think he had a product that did about 18 million. And don't quote that. I'm just pulling that from memories from years
Mhm.
ago. So please don't quote that. But that's a big business for this space. And, unfortunately, you're always going to have people who are willing to come forward and complain about something. You know what I mean? And, it's not as easy as maybe the clickbait makes it seem, but it can be. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be hard. Someone who has a little background in digital marketing in another industry, which I believe the top affiliate they went after did have some background in MLM. I don't know if that's true or not. But the bottom line is if you have some background in marketing and you come into affiliate marketing through the legendary marketer education, it doesn't have to be hard. I promoted it after being a successful affiliate for years, and I came in and had immediate success. And I'm not saying you're going to have immediate success, but it doesn't have to be hard. So it's almost like people who are watching these pieces of content and going through these video sales letters, it's almost like they're hearing what they want to hear
Mhm.
and then turn around and get upset when their perceptions didn't get met, regardless of whether or not that's the perceptions that were delivered by the company. Is that something you think happens?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, not every lead is a good lead. Not every customer is a great customer, right? There's people that just purchase things and they get immediate like discouraged, and then now they become bad customers, and now they bash the program because they didn't get the results. Not that they were promised, because nobody's promising anything, right? You have to put in the work, but they just don't realize that they have to do the work. That's the only thing, and then that's how you get those bad reviews. That's how you get those bad comments, talking about a program. That's when you get those type of customers, right? And then also I realized also that the three girls that were there, now they're doing like or selling digital products for the competitive of legendary marketer. And what are they doing? They're doing MRR. You get me? So I investigated and I was okay, these girls are just doing MRR. But then why didn't they talk shit about MRR? You get me? Where there's no refunds, first of all. Like there's it's just a different world that the news don't really understand. But if they really have done their homework, they will realize what they're also doing.
Yeah, that's interesting. You definitely investigated it more than I did, so that's interesting. So basically, they're quote unquote savvy marketers thinking, "Hey, here's an opportunity to blow up my brand by getting on TV." And I'm not saying they're lying about their dissatisfaction with Legendary Marketer, and I'm not saying they're lying about their satisfaction or relative increased level of satisfaction with the MRR product. And I'm certainly not saying one's better than the other, but it is interesting that they are still in the game, so to speak. And I think
Mhm.
that is something that gets lost on newbies sometimes who end up giving up and quitting before the miracle happens, so to speak. Is even if you jump into a digital marketing education course, and let's say it's your first one and you've never done anything with it, maybe you won't have immediate success with that first course you take, but guess what? You're going to learn a few things. Your eyes are going to be open to the opportunity and you're going to be starting down a path. So there's value in that as well. And at the end of the day, it's not a business opportunity. Any program, you have a program that has education and an affiliate program. I have a program that has affiliate education and an affiliate program for Legendary Marketer does. MRR, a big part of their um, pitch or whatever is that you can resell the product for, but it's not a business opportunity. It's education. That's what it is first and foremost. And any education you can get, I think, is valuable. So if they're started with Legendary Marketer as their first ever offer, and now they're maybe successfully selling master resale rights program, they should be thankful for the introduction to the opportunity.
100%. They carved the path for you to walk on. Now you decide if you want to go to that same route or a different route, but they just opened the door to this whole online world that you had no idea about because everybody was promoting Legendary at the time, right? So they just opened the door for you to decide what second door you want to open, right? Either you stay with them or you go somewhere else, and then the algorithms keep feeding you different business opportunities and all of that, which it's helpful, right? It helps because it opens your mind to everything. We never thought we were going to do a podcast, but literally Legendary Marketer opened the door and we just took it, right? We opened the second door, third door, fourth door. Now we have our products, we sell our own thing, we have affiliate programs. So they opened the door for us to get this far. And that's why you never should forget where you came from, right? Or how you started. Most people started with Legendary Marketer, but then they end up bashing them, right? But it's just like you can't forget that they paved the road for you to walk on. You get me? Now, let's talk about something that I did agree with the news outlet, right? It was the business plan advisors. Now, it's I'm sure for Dave Sharp, it's pretty hard to like control what they have to say on a Zoom call. You get me? Because one of the ladies said, "Yeah, you have to sell your car to do this." That's what the business plan advisors said to her, and I believe that. You get me? I believe there are some people out there that they're just trying to make the sale one way or another. So I do believe that that was said. Now, from my experience, I have sent so many people to legendary marketer, right? But doesn't mean that everybody got converted. Now, I don't know if that's the advisor's fault or you get me, like, because I've gotten a lot of feedback from my own leads saying that, sometimes they didn't show up to the call. Sometimes they had to talk to customer support to get a different person on the call. And then all these people from all different parts of the world, big accents, really hard to understand, maybe bad connection. So a lot of those variables I do agree with that they're just trying to sell you, a higher tier product or program.
Yeah, it's great that you brought that up because while I was out there, with my buddies and stuff, they're mostly in commercial construction. So it was me, four guys in commercial construction. So I'm the only digital marketer out at the ranch there. And when you sent me the link, Andre, my really good buddy was out there with me, and I was like, "Holy shit, stuff's going down in the industry." And then he asked about it. He goes, "So what's going on?" And as I'm breaking down, how the top affiliates make their money and how the program is structured and sold, and then I did get into the business plan advisors, and I said, I guarantee, and this is not a guarantee from this podcast perspective. I'm not here on the podcast saying I know 100% this is what happened, but when I'm talking to him, my buddy in the middle of nowhere, just shooting the shit with a friend, I guarantee the issue was the business plan advisor because we know things. I mean, you know, they probably have 40 to 60 business plan advisors. And as they scaled up their business, they had to bring new ones on. And I actually have a gentleman in my coaching program who used to be a business plan advisor. So I get some insight into that world. But the bottom line is any company, when you have to hire new people, you never know which employee is going to misrepresent you, right? And it doesn't matter if it's sales, it can be anything. It can be the restaurant industry. Andre, have you ever hired a server who's like, oh, they're hurting business? Maybe they piss off customers that lead to a bad Yelp review, which overall, drops down your ranking. And it's just part of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not exclusive to the BPAs. But I think you're right. I'm sure that things are said when no one's looking to try to push the sale. Now, I'm not saying taking out a credit card to invest in education is a bad thing. Just like we take student loans to go to college before we realize what we're really getting ourselves into. But yeah, I would say that's fair. That's worth agreeing to. You never know how strong armed their sales tactics were. Is that ethical or not? I don't know. I'm not really in sales, so I don't know. But yeah, I could probably agree with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can agree and disagree on a bunch of things, we disagree in a lot of things that they were saying in the news, but also, we know that some of the stuff might be misleading, right? Those type of contents. And then also the business plan advisors, like you say, it's hard to know what kind of people you bring into a business, right? Especially when you're hiring somebody. Like just how you say, I hire super bad people like in the restaurant business, but they were great interviewers. You get me? Like
Yeah.
the interview was amazing.
Hmm.
And then when you hire them, they didn't have the work ethic or the hustle, or the sense of urgency. And then you realize that as you go. Now it's not like you trust them, right? You have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Or I know you have to coach them, you have to make them better. You can say this, but at the same time, as the company, you have to manage that, right? I'm sure there's affiliate or PPAs managers out there that they have to be in charge of like checking out every call and making sure everything's running smoothly and in an ethic way, right? But yeah, just how you say, that company is growing so much. I'm sure they're hiring a bunch of people. People are probably quitting, and then he needs to hire real quick more people to fill out the spots. And that's when those things can happen. And that's just part of business, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we've met a lot of the business plan advisors. We had Andrei, who not you, Andrei, but the other Andrei, who's been on a podcast or been on this podcast as a guest. He was a business plan advisor and
Mhm.
still is with Legendary Marketer. He was my business plan advisor when I went through the program. We met him in person, and he's one of the most fantastic guys in the world. And he sincerely wants to help people because of the way digital marketing changed his life from being from a third world country and being from Jamaica and coming to the United States. And I love what he said. I didn't want to live a third world life in a first world country and stuff like that. So digital marketing was the path for him. So I know he's great. We met Bonnie, and I know she works hard at long hours and is very successful and truly cares about people. I mean, she just
Mhm.
truly cares about people. When we were talking to her late night at the mastermind, you know, she's I don't remember her exact words, but she's like, basically, I just want to help people and show them how they can help themselves. So I'm sure an overwhelming majority of their business plan advisors are amazing. But just like we said, you never know what that one hire is going to do, who's going to
Yeah.
go outside the realm of not being a team player, maybe. And I'm sure they're dealt with in a timely fashion. But all you got to do is have one person have one bad experience, remember it, and then have a chance to get on the news to sell their new product. I don't know what's going on there, but you know what I mean. That's just the bottom line. I think is it's just a business. It's
Mhm.
just a business, and it gets a bad rap because it's in the make money online industry, but it's just a business. It has the same problems and metrics and needs and struggles as every other business.
Exactly, exactly. Now, the last thing of the article or the video that we watched from the news was something about Dave Sharp not giving a comment or something like that, right? Or like, just making sure like, he doesn't say nothing wrong or something like that, which is smart, like he doesn't really have to say anything to the news, right? He doesn't have to prove himself that he's doing something right, right? He doesn't have to do that. He has a team behind that. Of course, he's not gonna comment, but that's also not a negative thing, like he understands like I said, they're getting investigated and they've been even before this news outlet that came out, right? Like this thing is just like the way it is, especially when you're running. I think it was like $220 million business, and they pay over half of that to their affiliates. You get me? So it's just like he's just doing what he's supposed to be doing, and we've been in it, So we know the education program. It's a great program to start learning, and yeah, I mean, you can just get started fast. You could get some results, but like I said, they're not guaranteed. You have to put in the work. Me and you have gotten great results with that program. And I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, honestly. I think they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's 100%, and because they're doing things the right way. You know what I mean? And like when we had Phil on last week, he is modeling the shift in his business after what Legendary Marketer is doing. It's less about the money and more about the education or the community or whatever, depending on who we're talking about here, because people still want this. They still want an opportunity to learn how to change their life. So the leaders in the space, the ones that aren't going anywhere, are the ones who deliver that with the right messaging. And I think that's why Legendary Marketer is in no danger. And I think that's also why, like you said, Dave didn't feel like he had to comment because that almost adds validity to the story. And it's just a piece for attention. You know what I mean? It's not solving anything for anyone. It's just a piece for attention. And I'm fine with that. I get what news outlets are supposed to do. At least we're just talking about making money and not, you know, homicides or something like that. So what, that's great. And I think it'll open people's eyes as well. You know what I mean? They'll start to investigate it for themselves and realize, hey, there's something here.
Exactly, and that's exactly right. Like when you want to buy something online, I know there's action takers out there that they just go all in, right away. But most people, they go on Google first and they research it. Is this right? What's the review on this? Let me see like the comments of people what they're saying about the program, right? And all the information is out there. There's a bunch of negative websites about legendary marketer, probably. You get me? Just bad reviews and so on and so on. So you as a customer is you're the one taking action. Nobody's doing it for you. You're buying something, and you have to do your due diligence, right? To get to know and then see if this actually a program that actually you want to start, right? Because nobody's forcing anybody. We're not selling. We're recommending.
Mhm.
You get me?
Mhm.
And that's all it is. So you can do your own research and then figure it out if this is something that you want to start. And it should be that, like, if you take action, is because of you decided to take action.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So now let's continue since we decided to go forth with a quote unquote controversial episode here. Have you seen any former legendary marketer affiliates who at the time they were promoting him sung the high praises, who now have jumped on this story and used it as a way to shed a negative light on that so they could promote their thing? Have you seen this going around or?
Yeah. Well, yes. We had a previous guy in this podcast too. You get me? And but he's done this since the beginning. Okay, let's just
Mhm.
we're not trying to make him or tell him, that he's doing things right now that are wrong, because they're not. Ever since he got successful with Legendary and then he stopped Legendary, the way for him to promote his program was by bashing Legendary. So he's
Mhm.
been doing this for 2 years already. But now that the news came out, now he's getting the marketing itch back, I guess you can say.
Yeah, because I've seen a couple of people who've kind of taken that angle. And, that's exactly what it is. It's a marketing strategy. And legendary marketer for a long time was the big dog. And it's just like, Miller Lite going after Bud Light, or, it's just the way marketing is done. Numbers two, number three, number four, number five, all attack number one. And number one doesn't mention anybody but themselves. You know what I mean? Like Nike's never going to run a commercial that says, we hate Reebok, they suck. You know what I mean? Because Nike's number one. Apple's never going to say, oh, the Google Pixel is the worst phone in the world because Apple's number one. But Google Pixel or Samsung might go out there and say, hey, we've had this technology for 7 years and stuff like that, because that's the way it's done in the industry. And that's, once again, it's just like any other business. The smaller guys attack number one, and number one just keeps its mouth shut and continues to do its thing. So yeah, we're
Yeah.
not dogging the strategy, but it is interesting. I like how you said it refueled the marketing itch. Put a few more bullets in the gun for him, huh?
Yeah, like he found another cartridge. He gave me to load it up.
Ready, fire!
Yeah. Okay, now different angle. Okay, different
Uh,
angle. Top affiliates getting banned from affiliate programs,
okay.
because that just happened.
Hmm.
There's at the end of the day, Dave Sharp is running a company and he needs to be stern with his policies, I guess you can say, right? He needs to do it, because or else things go wild. And I think that might be his fault. I feel like he let a bunch of top affiliates run wild.
Hmm.
You get me? Run super wild. Because I was having a conversation with another affiliate also, and I was just telling him, dude, I remember the good old days when we were all making 30,000, 40,000 a month. And we were just right there next to each other and be like, okay, next week I'm going to beat Andre. Next week I'm going to beat Brian. And that was so much fun when we were all making the same amount of money. It was amazing. It was a great opportunity, a little bit of competition here and there. But then you get the new era of affiliates coming up, and now they're making 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, $600,000 in a single month. It just loses the essence of the competition now, because it's gonna be so hard for somebody to get to that point and get excited about this opportunity, because they're just making exponential like numbers, you get me, that you can really get there. It's just almost impossible to get there. But like I said, when it was me and you and a bunch of other affiliates, we were right there. Every week it was just differently looking at the leaderboard. Okay, I want to be here. I want to be here. It was so much more fun back then.
It was a lot of fun. And, my favorite story from that time was they used to have the affiliate leaderboard, which it's interesting that they've removed it. And it's probably in part due to the fact that the same 15 people are always near the top. And that can be a little bit frustrating. And And this is not a conversation designed to bash any of the decisions that Legendary Marketer made by any means, but it's more along the line, and for me at least, is a conversation about the interesting aspects of human behavior and psychology, right? Because you were absolutely right. When it was the leaderboard and anybody could be on the top for the week and in any given week, it was a lot of fun. And I'll remember one week when 8 of the top 12 affiliates had been either coached or helped by me
Mm-hmm.
or were using the funnel I created. And it was a lot of fun. And then, I saw you rise up the ranks. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's crushing it. What's he doing? You know what I mean? And then it was a lot of fun. I remember when Josh, he was a previous guest on this podcast. I remember the week. I'll never forget the week that he kind of not discovered Facebook Reels, but this is kind of when Facebook Reels were new, and he just finally figured it out first, and he got 9,000 leads in 2 days. But it was so much fun because we were such a community and we were supporting each
Exactly.
other and we were excited for each other. And obviously, I think when that number starts to grow and quite honestly, more people come in, then jealousy has a tendency to rear its ugly head. And that's probably part of it. But yeah, back to your original statement. Yeah, banning a top affiliate. It's interesting that, it had to come to that. But the other side of things is you don't know if that top affiliate kind of forced the hand. And what I mean by that is a lot of times I see it all the time in this industry. People grow and have massive success, and then their numbers start to go down, and they start to get disgruntled, and they start to get desperate, and they
Mm,
start to, um, you know, play outside the boundary, outside the rules. And I think that's a lot of what led to banning the top affiliate is lack of communication and disregard for requests for change. Does that make
mm.
sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, but at the same time, I see them praising some affiliates that are doing the same things that the person that go banned did. You get
Yeah.
me?
Well, I'll tell you a perfect example is I made a video about Legendary Marketer, and I haven't promoted them on the front end offer in probably a couple years now. Not because I don't like them or not because I don't have tremendous respect for the program and Dave, but just because I wanted to do my own thing. But I made a video about Legendary Marketer. In the video was here's how I made my first $150,000 with Legendary Marketer, and here's how I made my next $250,000. And all I was doing was showing I gave specifics so I could show the different levels of effectiveness with the two different strategies. And basically, I was talking about how when I started, I made my first 150 doing this, and then I needed to re-inject new life into the campaign. So then I did this. It was an educational video about, hey, sometimes you just need to create a new front door for an affiliate offer. You don't have to
Mm,
change programs. And I got an email from their compliance department, and I was
mm,
like, oh, and that was kind of my response. It was like, so I can't talk about money made using different strategies. It's all right. I'll take the video down. And I took the video down because I don't want to tarnish that relationship or burn that bridge. But you're right. Then I scroll on TikTok and I still see the same loose comparisons. And I guess the mistake I made was I put legendary marketer in the title. And I and I,
mm.
and I should have just said affiliate marketing or something like that. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's the end of the day, certain tactics drive revenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I also got like a warning, I guess you can say, from the compliance team, which I put like a screenshot of a commission. You get me? And they were like, okay, well, you have to take it down. And I was okay, I'll take it down. No problem at all, right? But then everybody else is doing it. So I wonder, if everybody got the same email that I got that one time,
And
that's
I
the
think
other
it's very
thing.
possible because I have uh, a good feeling, and I don't know this for a fact, but I have a good feeling that that was the problem with the top affiliate is they did these things and received emails from the compliance department. And unlike us, who simply said, "Yeah, hey, no worries, man. We don't want to hurt anybody," took our videos down. regardless of whether they're getting traffic or not. I assume that that affiliate who got banned was like, F that, man. This makes me money. I'm doing it again. Right. And it just
Yep.
shows you have to play inside the rules. You can slide up to the end of the line, so to speak, with your clickbait if you want, but you have to play within the rules because once again, same theme I think that we've discovered here. It's just a business. It's just a business. You wouldn't go on, become an affiliate for Hershey's Candy Company and say, well, I started eating Hershey's and I lost 30 pounds. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to do that. It's the same thing in my mind. So yeah, you have to play within the rules and I salute them for banning a top affiliate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's great too, you know. And that's what I was talking about him letting some people run wild. You
Hmm.
get me? Like he needs to be very stern with like his policies, I guess you can say. Because if you're a top affiliate and you're not doing things in an ethic way, guess what? You're gonna have a bunch of people that look up to that person and they're gonna do the same thing.
And that's the thing. It's just like it's the compound effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what makes money. Okay, I'm gonna go do that because at the end of the day, that's how people get into this business. It's not to start a business many times. It's just to make money.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's just like, on Facebook. Facebook is such a negative place sometimes, and people will just say the meanest stuff in the comments, stuff they would never say to a person in real life, no matter how much they hated them. But they will say these mean things to people they don't even know. And it's just like being behind the phone, creating the content gives you a feeling of anonymity, or it allows you to have a veil over yourself. So I think that's why it can snowball so quickly is people are like,
Mm-hmm.
well, if that's what makes money, I'm just going to do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Especially with success, right? You're successful, people are gonna copy you 100%. And then, then the snowball effect starts happening, you know? But I mean, it's like I say, it's not going anywhere. They're doing good things. I still like the program, you get me? And, my program is similar to that program as well, you know? So it's like I got a lot of good ideas from that program and all the other five programs that I bought, you know?
Yeah.
So like I got a bunch of ideas from different programs, you know. I like some things, I don't like some things, and I just made it on my own basically. And that's just all it is, right? I found a different way to go at it. And I guess, the news, I know they're gonna have a negative thing about it. And I don't know if people, I guess, regular people outside this world looked at it. I don't know their perspective, I guess you can say.
Hmm.
You get me? I don't know their perspective. If somebody that just turned the news and they're like, oh, I wonder what they're thinking. You get me? I wonder what those people are thinking.
And that's kind of what's scary, Andre. And I got to be careful how I say this because everyone's gonna see, me down here in Texas with probably my gun case in the background and think but basically that's what's scary about the news is these powerful companies can spin their angle, and people who don't know anything about it will just trust it. And the first instinct is just to be like, that's bullshit. I mean, why these
Hmm.
companies shouldn't exist. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to get our podcast kicked off Apple Podcasts or anything like that. So I'll just I'll walk it back.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, anyways, what else, Brian? What else? We got, I don't know,
Well,
16 minutes left. What else
yeah,
can we talk
here
about?
let's talk about this then. Let's talk about someone who was on the fence with jumping into this game, and they're like, maybe I was going to go with Legendary Marketer, maybe I was going to choose one of the Master Resale Rates programs, maybe I was going to go with Andre or Brian or any other guest who's been on here, Jonathan Montoya or Phil or whatever. What would we say to someone who was on the fence with Legendary Marketer and now maybe gets a little scared? Should they go forward? What can they expect? Is it dead? What should their thought process be from an insider's point of view?
Yeah, so I still believe that is the best program to get started with, honestly. Because it's not that expensive to get started. You get me? It is not expensive at all to get started. I'm not talking about the blueprints. The blueprints, of course, they have a price tag. But to get started and just purchase the 15-day challenge, you can get so much information, valuable information that you can, and actionable information that you can utilize to go whichever route that you want to go, right? I believe now you don't even have to book a call to finish the 15-day challenge. That's some of the changes that they did where the lead or the client gets to decide which route they want to take. Either you have the business plan advisor help you through and guide you through the process, which most people will take it because you want to have that person guiding you through the whole thing, right? Or you can choose the path of just doing it on your own, right? So I think that's a positive, right? Because you are letting the client decide which route they want to go. I know there's a lot of people that are there, I guess, shy or they don't want to jump on Zoom calls like how I was when I first started, right? And if I had that option back then, I would probably just taken the option with just doing it on my own. You get me? Just because I wasn't comfortable talking to some random stranger on a Zoom call when I wasn't used to doing that at all. You get me? So I guess if you're somebody on the fence to get to that wants to get started, um, I still will recommend it to get started with that program 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I could take the angle of from a promotional standpoint, should you still market it with the quote unquote bad press? I would say that the easiest way to decide what you're going to promote is to decide the type of customer or the type of audience you want to attract. And it really comes down to product market fit. Now, if someone really wants to dive into digital marketing and they want to become a master at it and they want to learn it, not just how to build a website and post on Instagram, but if someone really wants to learn digital marketing and how to write copy and how to create a following, right? Then legendary marketer is exactly that. And that's just the way marketing is done these days. Even the biggest businesses, they're developing communities. They're focusing on, obviously writing their copy and they're, focusing on ad metrics and how to run front end offers and break even offers. And that's all the type of stuff you're going to get inside the blueprints if you decide to upgrade. So if that's the type of customer that you want to attract, someone who wants a real business, then I would say absolutely. It's still one of the best in the game for getting a well-rounded marketing education over time because there's a lot of information to go through if you're going to go through the blueprints. And that can be overwhelming if you're trying to attract someone who just wants, hey, show me where to click and where to post to get something going. And I'm not dogging those opportunities because that's also valuable. If you just want, hey, show me where to click and tell me what to post, at least it gets you started. But that's probably not legendary marketer. So if that's the type of people you want to attract, then maybe go with a different product. But yeah, you're right. For $7, the 15-day business builder challenge is a pretty good deal.
And the programs out there, they keep changing. They keep adding new things, new modules, information from back then. The answers change. You get me? If you ask a question on your coaching call, I only keep my coaching calls that just a live five recordings of my coaching calls because the questions will be the same, but maybe the answers will change. You get me? And that's exactly what happens with all the programs out there. Information is the same, but then some of the answers might change a little bit. They have to update it. They have to find new ways to help people. You get me? Because everything is changing. Like if Instagram decides to do an update tomorrow, guess what? All your trainings that you had from back then, they're gonna be pointless because there's a new update. So now you have to update your trainings. And that's what they do constantly. Constantly there's new trainings being added. Current information is being updated. You get me? So those changes are gonna happen. And I like it about it because all these programs they make the changes to help the people even more. If you decide you want to promote an affiliate marketing course, you have to just break those limiting beliefs from the customers and just make them realize that they can make at least $1 online.
Mm-hmm.
Once they can just make the $1 online, that means that they can make more. You get
Mm-hmm.
me? But people just wanna figure out that it works.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get past that, then they go all in.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember my first ever commission 12 years ago, and it changed everything for me. And like I always say, it was super spammy and not sustainable, but at least it proved that I could pull money out of the internet, so to speak. So that was great. And you're right. I changed my program in 2024.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what I did is I removed a lot of information in the quote unquote stagnant course. It was less click this, do this, and more. Here's the concepts. And
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice now all of a sudden. I think I smoked
It's
too many
okay.
cigars out at the ranch.
Gotta lay
But
off the
yeah,
cigars, Brian.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's the same thing I do. You know what I mean? I only
Yeah.
keep my coaching calls up for a week.
Yeah.
They're there until the next one goes because, like you said, the questions are going to be the same, but the answers might change. And yeah, my course is now just basically concepts, patterns that always remain, and the coaching is where you learn like, okay, this is what I should be doing this month, and
Hmm.
that's the way it's going to go because this change happens faster and faster and faster. When I first got started, it was like, okay, if you want to break into the game, then you need to learn SEO, search engine optimization. And guess what? The patterns of SEO that worked would be relevant for 2 years until Google would come along with their Panda update or whatever they used to call it or called it. And then everything would change. And then you'd need a new set of answers. And that would be relevant for another 2 to 3 years. Well, now things change like that. And we're
Hmm.
talking months. And it is completely different. And that's what I focus on a lot right now is TikTok is completely different now than it was in 2023. And also when TikTok came out and then Instagram came along with their reels, they behaved very similarly. Now, at least for my opinion, in my testing, TikTok performs very differently than Instagram, completely differently. So if you're just uploading content to TikTok, ripping it down and posting it on Instagram, you might get some views, but you're not going to get the most out of each platform.
Yeah. That I mean that's right. I mean, just the algorithms, they were completely different than how they used to be back then. Back then, it was easier to blow up on TikTok. Um, it's always been difficult to blow up on Instagram. That hasn't changed, you know. Hopefully, it changes. No, just kidding. but but you get me. It's just those platforms are on a constant algorithm update every single time. Now, remember when TikTok Shop came up? Everybody was freaking out that their views were low, but that was just because they were rolling out this new thing, right? Now everything's back to normal. Everything's back to normal. People are getting the views, but it was just because they were rolling out and they were pushing those type of contents even more. But for somebody that wasn't really educated or knew about how everything works and the changes that platforms make, then they start freaking out. Oh, do I need a new account? Am I getting only 200 views? You know, what do I do? What do I do? But no, you just gotta get pushed through it, keep posting and stay consistent. And that always works. I mean, staying consistent always works.
Yep. And if you're ever in doubt of what I need to create, I'm telling you, it's been proven time and time again for the last 8 years of me creating content is if you just don't know how to break out of the 200 view jail, or depending on what program platform it might be the 3 view jail, if you're on YouTube or whatever, then just go out there and see how you can genuinely help one person. And because if someone sees your content and it helps them, then that's going to attract more people. And before you know it, you have all these people now who are discovering your platform and they realize, wow, they're just trying to help me. Because that's what we forget is as creators and marketers, we are watching the view counts to see what works. All right, this got 200 views and then this got 2,000 views. Obviously, do more of what got 2,000 views. But from a customer or potential leads perspective, they need to look at this and say, okay, this person is talking to me because they're the only view they care about, what they get when they watch it. So you got to remember your customers, your leads, your potential clients, whatever, they're not interested in your view numbers. It can sway things a little bit because there's the people follow people mentality and it is social proof, but for the most part they're concerned about what they view. So if you ever get stuck, go out there and see how you can help one person. and then do it again and again and again and again.
And that's a common misconception when somebody has or starts their social media account. They think that nobody will buy from them just because they don't have the thousands followers, right? They just think like that because it's like, okay, well, how is this person gonna buy from me if nobody sees my videos or if I have 20 people following me? And a lot of people just focus on that, but in reality is you can make a sale just how you said it if you just focus on helping that one person.
Because 20 followers is 20 potential sales. And if you're selling a high ticket program, that's $20,000.
Yep.
Why would you not nurture that potential $20,000 sitting there? And if you get good at it, then when you do grow, then you're nurturing potentially hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars all at the same time. But the tactics don't change. It's still going out there and trying to help one person. And I'm telling you, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know enough to help people, that's bullshit. If you're listening to this podcast and you made it to minute, 56 or whatever we're at, then you already know more than 98% of the population. And that is the population that needs your help. And I think is more inclined to trust you with your 20 followers than us with our 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 followers, depending on which platform. We have to almost overcome the red flags once you get to this point. Whereas if you're just out there being authentic, it's like you're a breath of fresh air. And sometimes it's better to be different than be good. People want to see that. Leverage that beginner's advantage.
Exactly. Well, Brian, thank you so much for another amazing talk. We did a lot of good angles this episode. We're making it mainstream, I guess you can say. Just kidding. But yeah, thank you, Brian. Everybody, thank you for listening. Check us out on YouTube. And then yeah, we'll see you again on the next episode of the Evolve Marketing Podcast.